Since The Wizard of Oz was made long before CGI existed, you might wonder how they created the tornado for the film. They achieved this by using a 30-foot-long muslin stocking wound around chicken wire from top to bottom of the set, with dirt and dust blown through it. They used rear projection to display footage of the tornado in the background, while Judy Garland acted on a set in the foreground. This effect is quite impressive, considering the movie was made in the late 1930s. If you've ever been curious about the color change effect when Dorothy leaves her house, it was accomplished entirely on set, using sleight of hand. The inside of the house was painted in sepia tones, and a double for Judy Garland wore a sepia-colored dress. As the double opened the door, she handed Toto to Judy Garland off-screen, who then stepped into the frame in her colorful dress as the camera moved forward. The filmmakers wanted 300 little people for the Munchkinland scenes, but managed to get about 124. To fill the background and small windows, they used several children instead. Most of the little people were vaudevillian performers from Europe who didn't speak English. Mickey Carroll, from St. Louis, dubbed almost all of the Munchkins' voices, including the Lollipop Guild, and even Auntie M, whose actress couldn't be heard over the wind machine. Bert Lahr nearly missed out on playing the Cowardly Lion, as MGM initially considered some unusual options, such as making the lion an animated character, or using their iconic Leo the Lion and dubbing him with voiceover in post-production. Ray Bolger wasn't the first choice for the Scarecrow either. The role was initially given to Buddy Ebsen, while Bolger was cast as the Tin Man. However, Bolger felt his gangly dance style suited the Scarecrow better. After much discussion, he convinced the studio to switch the roles. Unfortunately, most of Ray Bolger's dance scenes were cut, including the Scarecrow's dance break at the end of his song, because the movie's original length was about 2 hours, which was considered too long for a children's film in the 1930s. Another deleted scene was a jitterbug musical number that was rehearsed for 5 weeks before being cut. The scene was removed because it was too upbeat to fit with the dramatic tension of the flying monkeys. Dorothy's ruby red slippers are one of the most iconic props in film history. Judy Garland wears them for most of the movie, but there's one shot on the yellow brick road where you can briefly see her wearing black leather shoes instead. The horse of a different color was actually played by 3 horses, each sprayed with a mixture of food coloring, vegetable oil, and Jell-O powder for their colorful appearance. These shots had to be filmed quickly because the horses would try to lick off the mixture. A subtle mistake you may not have noticed occurs when the Scarecrow receives his diploma from the wizard. The math formula he enthusiastically recites is actually incorrect. Finally, Dorothy's famous ballad Over the Rainbow was almost cut from the movie. MGM studio executives were anxious to get Dorothy to Oz and felt that her singing a 3-minute ballad next to a barn slowed the story's pace and that children wouldn't understand the song's message. Thankfully, associate producer Arthur Freed convinced Louis B. Mayer that cutting the song would be a huge mistake and threatened to leave the studio if it was removed. Mayer relented, and the song stayed, now considered one of the greatest movie songs of all time.